Today, the president addressed the National Urban League's 100th anniversary convention, and he went to the podium with a victory in hand. Yesterday, the House passed the Fair Sentencing Act of 2010 in a voice vote, joining the Senate, which had passed it in March, and sending it to his desk for signature.
We took an important step forward when Congress passed a fair sentencing bill that I look forward to signing into law, a bipartisan bill to help right a long-standing wrong by narrowing sentencing disparities between those convicted of crack cocaine and powder cocaine. It's the right thing to do.
The law the new fair sentencing bill will overturn was signed by Ronald Reagan during an era in which his wife was leading a national crusade dubbed the War on Drugs and urging everyone to just say no.
Say yes to your life. And when it comes to drugs and alcohol, just say no.
In the mid-'80s, that war had a new front when crack cocaine began to appear in American cities. In 1985, New York Times article, a retired police officer warned of the crack epidemic, saying, quote, "This is the wave of the future." The wave decimated many inner cities and did not escape the notice of the press, which covered the crack epidemic with increasing frenzy. It was then, in 1986, amidst the high watermark of national attention to the scourge of rock-like version of cocaine, that President Reagan signed new sentencing guidelines for selling the drug. Both substances were highly addictive, both were equally harmful, both were cocaine. But crack was cheap and cocaine wasn't. Crack was primarily afflicting urban neighborhoods, and cocaine was viewed as the party drug of well-off whites. African Americans made up 80% of those put in jail for crack offenses, despite being only 30% of crack users. Add to that the insane difference in punishment, and you had a yawning discrepancy in how the legal system punished white and black offenders. When he took office, President Obama sought to eliminate that 100-to-1 discrepancy, despite opposition from the usual suspects.
Reducing the penalties for crack cocaine could expose our neighborhoods to the same violence and addiction that caused Congress to act in the first place.
Yesterday, the president prevailed over this opposition, and the relative ease with which he did indicates that the war on drugs isn't quite the political winner it was during the days of Electric Boogaloo and Debbie Gibson. Like all the White House's victories, of course, this one was partial. When the new law is signed, the ratio between crack and cocaine sentences will still be an unjustifiable 18-to-1. But yesterday's vote moves the law significantly in the right direction, away from the most mindlessly punitive drug measures of the Reagan days. Progress is progress. Let's hope eventually the war on drugs goes the way of acid-wash denim and shoulder pads.